video on the channel that has been getting a lot of attention, a lot of comments is the video, Are There Differences Between Guru Nanak and Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Teachings? So this was an excerpt from an interview in which the questioner asked that, based off his perception, he feels that, the actions of Guru Nanak Dev Ji and the actions of Guru Gobind Singh Ji reflect two different schools of thought, two different teachings. So, and then when I tried to answer that question, I gave that verse from Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Murakh Gand Pavai Mohe Maar, that a fool only understands a fool's language. That Guru Gobind Singh Ji, after all negotiation had failed, after all peaceful means had failed, he had taken up the sword to defend the rights of the oppressed and to stand up for justice. So from one perspective, the iron of that sword was made by Guru Nanak Dev Ji in that verse. And so I wanted to, most of the comments have been good, like in terms of healthy discussion on this subject. But there's been a few more questions that have been asked that I wanted to address in that, the concept of when is it right to use, armed means to fight against oppression. So we have to understand a little bit about the Sikh tradition that there's a verse from Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib that says, "Pੈ kahu ko det neh," that it's wrong to give fear to anybody, to make anybody afraid of us. But Guruji also says, "Neh pੈ manat an." It's also wrong to live in fear of somebody. So just as it's wrong to oppress somebody, it's also wrong to tolerate oppression and do nothing. So this is another guiding light of Gurbani that guides that what we see in the later part of Sikh history about Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And there was some mention also in the comments about non-violence, about how there were different times and how the gurus responded to the needs of their times. So one thing that we have to understand is doing nothing when violence is happening. If we know Indian history from the time of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, there was tremendous violence, tremendous oppression. To do nothing during that time is to support violence. So to say that the teachings of Guru Gobind Singh Ji are different than the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji is incorrect, because Guru Gobind Singh Ji actually opposed violence, and he tried to stop violence through everything he did by founding the Khalsa, through the armed struggle against oppression. So it's very clear, and Gurbani makes this also very clear, that there's no difference between our 10 human gurus, between Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Jot oa jugat sai seh kaya fir paltiye. So Gurbani says that the spirit, the light is the same, but it passed through 10 different kaya, or 10 different bodies. So this should be absolutely clear. But I appreciate the healthy discussion, and I hope this helps to illustrate a little bit more that there are no differences between Guru Nanak Dev Ji and Guru Gobind Singh Ji's teaching.